this video, we're going to cover how to perform a PCV and total solids. A PCV stands for packed cell volume, and the term hematocrit is synonymous with PCV. To run a PCV, you will need whole blood, either directly from the vein before it clots or from a purple EDTA tube. You will put the blood using capillary action into a small little glass tube called a PCV or microhematocrit tube, and then you stab the tube into some clay, which you see there at the bottom, to keep the blood in the tube when you centrifuge it down. Once you spin it down, you will see that it separates into these four components. You'll have the clay at the bottom, the red blood cell portion, and the buffy coat where your white blood cells and platelets will be, and you can see how small that is in comparison to your red blood cells. Your erythrocytes are the most numerous cell in the body. And then you'll have your plasma portion at the top, and then above that is just empty glass. So hematocrit or packed cell volume is essentially the percent of the blood that is comprised of the red blood cells. So that's what we're looking for here. So what you're looking at is a hematocrit card, and we use these to measure the PCV with the tube. Now what you're going to do is line up that tube where the top of the plasma, which is 100% of the blood, lines up with the 100 line, and the bottom of the red blood cell column, which is the bottom of the entire section of blood, lines up with 0. And then what we're looking for is the percent of the blood that is red blood cells. So we're reading at the very top of the red blood cell column. So we have 0, we have 100. This is all of our blood. This is just clay down here, so make sure you're above the clay. And then you're going to read the top of the red blood cell column. And as you can see on the card, if you follow that line across, we have a PCV of 45. So the microhematocrit tube can also be used for total solids. And I highly recommend, if you're in an emergency situation and you can't get enough blood for a CBC chem and you have a little bit of blood, make some hematocrit tubes, because you can get at least an idea of whether or not the patient is anemic or hydrated by getting a PCV and a total solid. So it's very useful also in exotics where we can't always get a lot of blood. So what we do is we break the PCV tube. You're going to break it right above the buffy coat so that all we have is the plasma. Next, we're going to use a refractometer to obtain the total solids value. I tell people to turn it upside down. So once you break it, turn it so that the empty glass portion is facing the refractometer, because at this end you're going to have some broken glass, and we don't want that getting on our refractometer window that we use to read samples. We use this for urine and total solids. So once you break it, turn it upside down, and you're going to either tap it or just wait until it drips out. You only need a couple of drops on that refractometer window, and then you're going to close this flap over it and hold it down, and we're going to look through the eyepiece to obtain a reading. So when we look through our typical veterinary refractometer, there's lots of refractometers out there. But specifically for veterinary industry, we use them mostly for our total solids and USG. So you have your urine specific gravity scale over here, which measures your USG, and then you'll have your total protein scale, which is usually from 0 to 12. You may see it labeled differently. It may say TS for total solids. It may say serum protein. It may also just say SP. So it's always the same thing. Now just remember, when we're doing it with a hematocrit tube, we're actually using plasma, not serum. So a total solids is different from serum protein because you still have your clotting factors in the plasma, like fibrinogen. So your reading is going to be slightly higher than if we were doing a total protein in a chemistry. So when we're looking through the lens of the eyepiece, this is a scale you're going to see. We're going to use the middle scale for protein, and you read where the blue meets the white. So in this case, our total solids on the plasma is going to be 5.